your perspective is going to be so helpful for so many, because you're coming in as a first-time dog mom, and you like bit off more than you bargained for. And you were shocked and surprised and overwhelmed, and and things are turning around. So why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're from and introduce yourself and your dog, and then we can dive into some of your story.
Yeah, so I'm from Poland. I live in a city near to the capital city, like near Warsaw. So yeah, I live basically in a city where there is a lot of people, because everyone who's working in Warsaw is living pretty much here. So there is a lot of people with other dogs walking nearby. There is a lot of other people living by. I live in a flat. So there is a lot of noises on a common staircase. So yay! This is my recent small struggle. So before adopting Badi, I never had dog experience at all. I was like a cat person. You can define me like as a cat person who like now is a dog person because of my dog. Yeah. He gave me so many lessons, and it was I like adopting a puppy, like a small 3 or 4 months puppy, who is coming from I didn't know where exactly. So it was really hard for me when I saw what puppy does. To be honest, it was like extremely shocking. And additionally to like the normal puppy stuff at home, especially left at home, like alone, there came also the reactivity to other dogs, leash pulling, reactivity to strangers, as like he didn't accept people in my house like at all. I believe because I took him from a temporary house, and I think he was moved there like every week in another house. So I think it was like really stressful for him changing houses so often. He for the first month when I adopted, he didn't accept my mom at all. He was barking like a crazy at her, but she just ignored her, and now he's like 100% in love with her. Like he loves her so much, he sometimes even forget that I'm there when she's there. So so that's like beginning of my story, like shock with adopting puppy. And I have a cat additionally, like an older cat. My cat was I think 2 or 3 years, because the cat is also adopted, so I don't know the age. So it was a shock for my cat too, but he took it better, I believe, than I do. I was so frustrated when it turns out that he's so reactive to other dogs. Like I was usually avoiding other people anyway, but I thought that puppy is like, I had this imagination like the puppy is the one that loves everyone, everybody, every dog. He wants to meet with everyone, he's super happy and everything. And then the reality came. So it's not always like that. So I pretty much probably can congratulate to myself that he was more reactive to other dogs than at the beginning, because I was reading all those books about dogs and trainings. I never went to a training with him, to be honest, because I'm, I believe, too lazy for that. I was reading that dogs need to meet other dogs, and I was, forcing him to meet other dogs, bigger dogs, smaller dogs. He has few friends. He has, yeah. But those were like dogs he met when he was puppy, and those dogs in most occasions, those dogs also were puppies. So with adult dogs, it was like really hard for him, and it was really frustrating for me, because we couldn't even pass next to a dog in a 100 meters. It was like too hard for him to even be that close to another dog. He
Right.
was
That's
like,
far. Yeah.
yeah, it is far.
Yeah.
And he was like, when he spotted dog, like, even a small dot of a dog, he was like already alerted, started to barking. And when the dog got close, it was like lunging, barking. Once he even like almost, yeah, I fell down. It was like really hard because he's like 20-kilo dog, so he has the power to pull.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really strong dog.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
so
and you
that was really,
started working with a behaviorist, right? That
yeah,
you asked
yeah,
for help and
yeah. I asked for help with a behaviorist. The lady came and she said that first, before we go outside, we need to deal with his behavior in house. He basically, when she first time came, he didn't even let her in. So she was standing in the next to the front door, and I needed to drag him away so she can even enter my house.
wow.
So that was really crazy. He was like, he literally, he freaked. At that day, he totally freaked. He lost everything. He was so disconnected from everything else. I was shocked. I believe he was shocked. It was so terrifying for him that when I think about that now, I wouldn't let this situation even to happen, because now I have a workaround how to let people in when I want them to let them in, which is like super simple, because I just need to go downstairs and go to my house with them. So he just need to greet them outside on, like more, not at his space.
Right.
But
I
then,
love
yeah,
that. I mean, and that's an example of just shifting our perspective, thinking about how to support our dog. How can we
yeah,
keep him safe, calm, and happy? So I love that. So I think you came to one of the free workshops
yeah, 1 year
last
ago in
one
March.
year ago, and I think you just resonated with like the heart connection and the
Yeah.
respect, and that's what you dreamed of having with your dog, and so you jumped in. So tell us, I don't know, like where, I mean, you're still in the middle of a journey, right? And
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
us some of the things that are better now. So obviously one thing is better, that you know how to help him with people coming over. What else is
Yeah.
better? Like how is life for you now? And then we'll talk about what were some of the things that helped.
Yeah, okay. So now it's like, because when I like thought about this interview, then I started even to talk with my husband about that, how much has changed for us. And it's like, whoa, amazing. Because we now literally we can go on a walk. It's not like he's not pulling on a leash, but the leash pulling is much more reduced. And we actually didn't work on that yet. We are just starting to work on that. But in case of other dogs, it's like, whoa. like seriously, even today we went on a walk, and there was like several big dogs that we were seeing. We are not going close to other dogs, which we know that they are not our friends. So he didn't even notice. He just looked at those dogs and said, okay, let's go. Yeah, it's like amazing. And even though those, like, was like one bigger dog, and this dog started to bark at mine like in a second when this dog saw my body, and my body just looked at it, and I could see in his mind like saying, what, why are you barking? Yeah, it was like amazing. And it's much easier to, when there are situations that we need to pass closer to a strange dog. It's much more easier to just do it. So that's like a more visible thing. It's like the window barking. It's like there is only one dog that he still barks on. It's like the bear size black dog. But anything else, he can like hang on the window like for a half a day, and there is no reaction, or
Wow.
sometimes like some slight, but literally nothing.
Wow.
We had some period when he was actually really, like half a year ago, it was, I think, when he started to get really anxious about the noises on the staircase, mostly because my neighbors has two small children, like a really small, like I think 2 years.
So they're
Yeah,
noisy.
yeah, they are noisy. Because when I remember there was a challenge to make boundaries in the BPA, so we had the boundary now that he's not going first through the door outside, so he waits at the door in house and outside of the flat. He waits at the door. So there was one situation when those little child was just, I didn't know that they are there. They were weirdly silent. And the child, like, I opened my door and the child, just ran across my door. And my buddy just stood there and he didn't react. He just stood there waiting at the door for being released to go. And I was like, whoa, I was so amazed that he didn't even thought about barking at that child, even thought about rushing at that child. And he was just waiting for being released to go out. And I was then so grateful that we actually practiced that.
Wow, that's
Because
fantastic.
yeah, I could imagine what might happen if they were crashed to each other. So
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I think like he's much more responsible on walks. On a long leash, he's like, he rocks. He also rocks off leash when because I put him off leash when there are friend dogs, so he can play with the friendly dogs. And he literally he really rocks, because he is actually the only dog that during the whole play he's coming to me, check what's up. He's like the only dog who still remembers that I'm there.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like for me it's speechless when I think about what we had. Like, we couldn't even go nearby other dog. When I was going to park with him, it was so hard sometimes, and I was still putting him in that situation because I just didn't understand from where this barking is going, like from where this is coming. I just didn't understand that. I thought like it's weird. I was like trying to explain to him, this dog never did anything to you. What are you barking at it? Yeah, so now I understand it so much better. I learned how to listen to him, and I can see on a big smile on his face that he totally understands that I'm listening. And he's showing this, like, his happiness in so expressive way. Like, literally, when he doesn't want to go somewhere on a walk, because I really, in most cases, I don't care where we are going, so we can go whenever he wants. So when I see that he don't want to go somewhere, so I'm just asking, okay, so do you want to go there? And he's like, the whole like big smile on his face, and he jumps from a happiness, and it's like, oh. Yeah, and
Thanks
it's
for
like,
asking.
yeah, exactly. Something like that. And at home, it's like I feel like like now we have relationship. We never had a relationship before. He actually enjoys spending time with us on the couch, just laying on the couch watching TV. Maybe he's not watching, but he's really enjoying that time because he can be between us. We are snuggling, we are having good time, and he actually comes to us for more. He comes to us for scratch. He comes to us even like today. I noticed that actually on walks, when we are on a long line, he actually just comes to hang out next to us.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is like, for me, it's amazing. And I can because I have this goal that for this year, that I want to see him happy. I want him to be happy when we are going on the walks, because there was a time when he was like, his eyes were so sad and his tail was so low when we were going to go outside. Probably because I was slightly frustrated with leash pulling and other stuff. I had this in my mind that, I don't like those walks. It's like we have to because we live in a flat. But now I just shifted my perspective, and I basically convinced myself that, okay, I really like those walks because they are beneficial for me. They are beneficial for him. We can spend time together. I'm moving, he's moving. And I'm since joining BPA, I'm learning how to actually be there with him. When I catch myself that I'm going somewhere else with my thoughts, I'm like, no, we are here and now. don't worry about other stuff. You are here and now, and enjoy this time. So yeah, and I'm like, now I'm looking for a like ideas. I'm looking for like those moments where we can actually connect on the short leash, because it's like, maybe it's a weird thing, but we are extremely connected on a long line or when he's loose, but we have some difficulties when he's on a short leash, which is for most of the time because we live in a city and we are not going for a long leash walks much.
Right.
But yeah, but what helped us, I think, it's a hide and seek game. It's like, it's amazing what this game does.
It is,
It's
isn't
like,
it?
yeah, it is, because now it's like I see that he's walking there because I have 20 meters line. I see him walking like those almost 18 meters in front of me, and then I'm starting to feel, oh, I'm gonna to hide, and he's like in a second, whoop, looking at me, and I knew you want to hide.
I
It's
saw that thought bubble
crazy.
come out of your head.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he's reading my mind. It's crazy.
Right, and it's a great example of how attuned our dogs are to us all the time, even when we don't know. Right? That's a great example. Wow. So just a complete turnaround. And so, what would you
Yeah.
say? Like looking back over the past year, like what would you say some of the partnership principles that you've implemented had the most impact for you? Like what were, if you could pick out a couple things that you're like, oh, this, like this really helped me understand, or this helped me to turn things around. Can you pick out a couple things maybe?
Yeah. So the basically the first thing that helped me, it was what you Katie said on the workshop in March, just to say to your dog that he's perfect. And actually, I did it at the first day, after like first day of the workshop. And I think maybe this is weird, but I think like from the very first moment when I said this to him, I said, okay, buddy, you are perfect as you are. And I think in that moment something changed. It's changed for me, and I believe it's changed for him. So that was like our first breakthrough, when I really said, okay, I get you as you are. I may still be a little bit frustrated with your behavior, but behavior is communication. And now I like, at the beginning it was hard for me to understand that, but now it's much easier every time when we have those moments, like sometimes when he barked at something, I say, okay, I understand. This is the situation that we shouldn't be again. I will do my best to not put us in that situation again. So I'm following the safe, calm, and happy protocol. I also role model for him that this is not concern of ours. I actually explain to him why this is not our concern. Yeah, I give him a job. It's like, I have the best example when I had a domophone, like a ring bell reactive dog, and now when he hears it, he wags his tail and waits for delivery. Like actually he waits. He's so happy. He's the happiest dog I ever seen waiting for a package delivery. Yeah, because
And you did that through role modeling.
yeah, I did that for role modeling, and I did it, but I started to explain to him when I was expecting a delivery. I was explaining to him, okay, today we will have a delivery, so be patient, and the domophone will ring, the bell to the door will ring, because the guy will come and deliver us a package. And the another thing what I just did, I started to give him all the packages. So I just, taking from the guy, giving to the dog, and recently, like, the delivery guy actually laughed when he saw when I'm giving the package right away to my dog. But he actually loved that. He's waiting for that package that then he can take to his place and unpack if it's possible. And yeah, so
I love that. Yeah.
yeah,
Paulina, you are a rock star. I mean, there is no doubt about. I mean, just when
thank
it's
you.
almost mind-boggling that someone, a first-time dog mom, and how oh, how you've just immersed yourself in it, and have really embraced, some of these principles, and look at how it's changed your life, and now you have this a companion that you
Yeah,
wanted to have, right?
it's true. It's like it took me a while to like fully understand what this is. I'm like still not totally know everything, but I'm learning with every quality call. Actually, I'm like learning with every this monthly challenge. Those monthly challenges, I don't have a thing like I do much, but they are helping me a lot because I know that there are the fields that I need to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing how it's working, even not when you are working actually on that element, and it's still giving you a result. It's amazing.
The sideways approach, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's because I'm like, thanks to all of this, I understand like through because of the code, the calls like we have, and the master classes, like other people post and other people's questions, everything is like helping me to understand. I can relate to some of those topics, and I can see that. And then I through some calls, I have those aha moments, like, oh, so this is what this is about. Yeah, it's now I know, and now I see that he like Badi really, he really likes that I'm trying, because it's, if you don't really start being into that, it won't work. Because at the beginning I thought, okay, foundation formula, okay, it's cool, but then I started to just committing myself to that more and more. And when I started to commit myself, it's like with even the foundation formula, at the first time I thought, how people like everyone says like, oh, every time we look to this we see something else, and I was like, yeah, right.
Like, what else is there to see? It seems pretty.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I heard everything, yeah, but no. Yeah, it's like every time when I do foundation formula, it's I find something else for myself because I'm on different stage with bodies. Like, yeah,
I love that.
yes,
It's true. It's true.
yeah, it's true. So it's helping me like a lot. But the safe, calm, and happy protocol, it's like the most important, because now even when we are on the walks with Badi, and sometimes I think like I don't feel really safe going somewhere when he wants to go, and I'm like saying, Buddy, I don't feel really safe about going there. Can we go somewhere else? And he's like, it's like he's understanding that, and he's saying, okay, we can go somewhere else. It's like, even for me, it's better. Like, it's even better to understand myself. Yeah, it's
So you're noticing that you don't feel safe, where in the past you wouldn't have even noticed that. It's an
yeah,
important piece,
exactly. I
right?
would probably ignore that, because now I know where there are some, like, for example, I know that there is a dog that will bark, and I know that Buddy will be waiting to bark at that dog, so I'm just not going there. Because why? What's the point?
Exactly, right? Because like the main thing is to keep the main thing, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's yeah. So we are just focusing on that, and like my goal is just to make him happy, and I believe that safe and calm will come along, because I really want to see this big smile on his face, as he was so not understood for such a long time, because it was 4 years when he was there struggling and trying to communicate, and I just wasn't ready to hear it. But now actually I am, and I see that he's grateful for that, and I'm grateful for all the lessons that he's giving me, because when I'm sometimes role modeling for him, there are times that he's role modeling for me, especially in some situations. Coming back to grazing, I think he's like a rock star in that recently, because even if he bark at dog, it's like it takes him like literally seconds to forget about that dog, and I'm like sometimes living in that moment for 5-10 minutes, and then I'm looking at my dog and, oh, he forgot about that 10 minutes ago, so why I'm still there?
I love that. And our dogs are such great teachers if we just pay
Yeah,
attention, right?
exactly. It's like, yeah, so
Yeah.
he's really amazing. I'm like so grateful for all the lessons that he's giving me, even though the beginning was like super hard. Because yeah, it's like first dog, reactive dog. It's like, whoa.
It was a lot.